Good morning, sir. Good morning, sirs.
Have a seat, Mayank.
Thank you, sir.
So, Mayank, you are from Madhya Pradesh,
Yes,
Rewa,
sir. Yes, sir.
and your optional is sociology,
Sir.
and you have done your bachelor in civil engineering.
Yes, sir.
You are working with the UP police as DYSP.
Yes, sir. Undergoing training, sir.
Doing training.
Yes, sir.
Where are you undergoing training?
Sir, in Moradabad.
Moradabad.
Yes,
So
sir.
there, the state civil service, state police service institute is in Moradabad.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you have earlier served as a project engineer also,
Yes, sir.
and you have also appeared in interview at CAPF.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Hindi poetry is you are fond of that. That is your hobby.
Yes, sir.
Writing of. All right. So I was keen to know, Mayank, that there are in every human being there are value systems and vices also. So virtues and vices,
Yes, sir.
or weaknesses, you can say. What weakness will you associate with Durvasa?
Durvasa Rishi, sir.
What weakness?
Sir,
Why he was known? What is that typical one weakness of Durvasa?
Sir, I don't recall the mythological story of Durvasa. So I cannot comment on that, sir.
Okay. What about Ravan?
Ravana, sir? Sir, one is self-centered.
Mhm.
The second, which I could think of Ravana as a vice, is, sir, too much narcissism at points, sir.
Would you not like to say the power and desire associated with Ravan? Power and desire. And Durvasa? Anger?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in the case of Hitler, what was that vice or weakness of Hitler?
Sir, hatred, sir.
Hatred. Okay. Hatred and arrogance also. What about Duryodhan?
Duryodhan, sir.
Yes.
Sir, with Duryodhan, sir, being compassionate with others, sir, especially the brothers.
Any other vice?
Sir, again, power, sir, hunger for power.
Okay. So, okay, let me ask you let's move on to some other thing. Okay. Now, what is the main issues concerning women's empowerment? That why is it that women in present society, they are being discriminated by the males, and what can be done about it, and what is the government doing about it? That also.
Sir.
Anything? Yeah.
So the major reason for women being disempowered is, sir, number one, sir, patriarchy and sexual division of labor. And due to that, there is financial dependence on men, sir. This is the basic reason. And, sir, how we can
do that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
With, sir, education and employment, sir.
So what are the two things that you will do if you are posted in the district for empowerment of women? 2 steps you will take.
Sir, for financial dependence, the scope of SHGs is number one, sir, promoting SHGs. And number two, sir, with respect to women, the kind of compassion they show, and also, sir, for in order to promote education, sir, these are the 2 things which I would do, sir. One, sir, in terms of employment, SHGs, and for education, these 2 things, sir.
What is the role of politicians, bureaucrats, and public in policy formulation and policy implementation?
Sir, with vast experiences at the ground level, the bureaucrats know the ground realities. So, due to that, they can provide the inputs in policy formulation, sir. Number two, sir, they also function as a intermediary between the government and the citizenry, sir. So this two-way communication, I mean, from government policies and from public, what are their grievances, they know that. So in that way, they are beneficial for policy formulation, sir.
That is for the bureaucrat, you said.
Yes, sir.
What about politicians?
Sir, politicians provide the political aspect.
Political executive, particularly. I will talk about political executive.
Okay, sir. Sir, political executive are the voice of the aspiration of people. So they, in a way, they can relate with their constituencies as MLA or MP, sir. So in a way, they know the ground realities in a more vocal way, sir. So this is how they do, sir.
That's about it. Are they not involved in policy formulation?
Sir, yes, sir, they are involved, sir.
So what is that thing that which is the integrity and nuts and bolt of policy formulation?
Yes, sir. Through debate and discussion in legislature, sir, there is parliamentary committees and also where they discuss these kind of issues, sir.
What about the others, public or the non-officials?
Sir,
what is the role they play in public policy formulation?
the normal public, sir.
Public, NGOs, other groups.
Yes, sir. Sir, they can if there is any policy draft which is there, they can provide their assessment. They can assess that policy and provide their critical opinion on that, sir.
Okay, so you can read that furthermore. Okay. About
Okay, sir.
the role of this, Ashok.
Yes, in elections, we see that candidates with almost nil educational qualification or age, very high, they also are able to contest. Shouldn't there be a qualification prescribed, a minimum qualification, and an age limit, maybe whatever, 75 or 80, whatever? Shouldn't there be these limits to contest an election?
Sir, I believe looking at the
At least in the assembly and parliament, if not panchayats.
Sir. So looking at the socio-economic realities of India and also the right of equality under Article 14, it will be discriminatory if we put any barrier with respect to education or the age. So I believe this system of democracy functions on this very premise that anybody who represents the will of the people can be elected, sir.
What about age?
So same goes with age, sir. With age, one thing which we get is the experience, sir.
Both these parameters are there when you are entering a civil service or any other job.
Sir.
So isn't it discriminatory to others then here?
Sir, the basic function of bureaucracy and being political executive are different, sir. Here, this is the basic reason why this is not discriminatory, and in that case, that is discriminatory.
What is the difference?
Sir, being a civil servant, one is, sir, we undergo training, so there need to be a time limit if that person could be molded, the value system of can be inculcated. So these things are required, sir.
But a politician also can be put to training, and politician is also required to read and understand laws, read and understand several reports, and also write sometimes, many times.
Yes, sir.
When he becomes a minister, he has to read files, he has to read notings, he has to read several judgments, laws, so many things.
Yes, sir. Sir, but still, the main function, the main responsibility and role is with respect to articulate the grievances of the people and finally to come up to the stage and help in the policy formulation in the form of legislation, sir.
Okay. Now, in election, again, there is a ceiling of expenditure.
Yes, sir.
On a candidate. What is the significance of this ceiling? Particularly in view of the fact that 98-99% candidates, when they report their expenditure finally, how much expenditure they have incurred, is well below 50% of that ceiling, you can say.
So,
So they don't actually spend so much. So why have this ceiling?
sir, this ceiling is to reduce inducement and uh, use of money power in election, sir. That is why the ceiling is there, sir. Sir, money power in the form of inducements, the advertisement. For example, sir, to get in to win.
The same money is spent by the party unlimited.
Yes, sir. This is the kind of reform which is required, sir. The ceiling, as per.
There should be some ceiling on the party also.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mayank, you have been DSP for almost a year now. This month you are completing one full year. Are you actually functioning or are still in training only?
In training, sir.
In training only,
Yes, sir.
okay. So what do you think about the UP police action using bulldozers for demolishing, of course, unauthorized construction, but with a purpose?
Sir, any kind of construction which is illegal, as in is on the public property, the government has the right to remove the encroachment. However, due process need to be followed, and the process need to be fair, sir.
What is that due process?
Sir, due process involves, sir, giving the notice if the structure is permanent, sir. But if the structure is of non-permanent nature, then there is no need for notice, sir.
Okay, and that has been followed in UP.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, tell me, you are writing Hindi poetry yourself. Is
Yes,
that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you recite one of the poems you wrote?
Yes, sir.
Maybe a few lines, two,
Yes,
three
sir.
lines.
Sir, this I wrote last year, sir. जब कभी हो लक्ष्य ओझल नव नयन से, तुम तनिक चक्षु सरों से पद खुरे दो, रख के सीने पे कदम हर मुश्किलों के, तुम किसी अवरुद्ध पथ का द्वार खोलो, है जो तृष्णा का भयंकर भूत मन में, मार खंजर आत्मबल का तुम खदेड़ो, लड़ खड़ाओ हार के डर से कभी जो, धैर्य व साहस को भी तुम संग ले लो.
So, when you can write so well in Hindi with very nice words, why didn't you opt Hindi as your language for interview?
Sir, due to my education, sir, in and also, sir, with my employment, I believe, sir, English in English, I can express myself better than in Hindi, sir.
Better than what you just recited? I doubt very much. Because the wordings which you have used are very, very good in that poem.
Thank you, sir. But I still believe English. The material as well, sir. The newspaper and everything, they are more helpful, sir.
Okay, now Ashoka was a great ruler because firstly there was a lot of bloodshed in Kalinga and then he decided to become non-violent. In the modern Indian history, who could be one of the persons who is close to that?
Sir, with respect to policies, sir, I believe Akbar uh, could be equivalent to Ashoka, sir.
Akbar is not in modern Indian history. Do you call it modern?
Sorry, sir. In modern, sir. Sorry, sir. I cannot think of anyone.
Mhm. Do you think Mahatma Gandhi comes somewhat close to that?
Mahatma Gandhi, sir. Sir, with the kind of policies which he followed, non-violence and truthfulness, are equivalent to the Dhamma policy of Ashoka, sir.
Now, civil engineering is one of your, qualifications. You did civil engineering. Civil engineering is one of the major source of corruption in the country today. All the public works which are undertaken, there are, everybody knows all kinds of problems, whether it's road construction or airport construction or housing or any other project. So, what do you think is the cause and how can we remedy it?
Sir, the reason for corruption in infrastructure sector is, sir, number one, sir, the kind of discretion and the initially, sir, when PPP kind of model was not there, sir, the monopoly as well, sir. As second ARC argued, monopoly plus discretion minus accountability leads to corruption. So this is the basic reason, sir. However, sir, with coming of PPP model where the participation of public sector is there, sir, and also the accountability is also, sir, public is also aware. The with for example, sir, there are different integrity pacts are also signed. So these things are reducing the corruption, sir.
You think it's going down now?
Yes, sir.
Corruption is going down.
Sir.
What is the situation of corruption in UP? MP, sorry.
MP, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, there is no objective report with respect to MP, sir, so I cannot comment on that, sir.
And in UP, where you are now DSP under training,
Sir.
the corruption index has come down?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of this, sir.
Not aware. What is the general perception of the people?
Sir, unfortunately, the perception in India as a whole, sir, is that corruption is a problem in our
It's still
system, sir.
endemic.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So this is 1 year training or 2 years training program?
Sir, 16-month training, sir. 16 months training.
So what they have taught so far in the training?
Sir, in there are two sections, sir, outdoors and indoors. In outdoors, mostly parade, drills, firing, these things are included, sir. And in indoors, sir, Indian Constitution, human rights, few provisions related to IPC, CRPC, and also, sir, the new fields like cyber and forensics, these kind of things, sir.
Investigation?
Yes, sir, investigation as well, sir.
Now can you tell us actually how investigation has changed in the last, say, 1 decade?
Investigation changes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, as far as the provisions of CRPC are concerned, sir, the provisions are still the same, sir. However, with coming of technology, the forensic science is being used, sir. So these are the basic changes which have happened in investigation, sir.
One is use of forensic science.
Yes, sir.
What else?
Sir, for example, sir, cyber forensics as well in fraud, sir.
Yeah, the different branches of forensic. What else apart from forensic?
Sir, also, sir, with modernization of police, now the investigation part also, I mean, has been fastened, sir. The CCTV cameras, the use of GIS, the mobile data, these things are also used in investigation, sir.
There is one more area which has provided a good opportunity,
Sir.
For an IO.
Sorry, sir, I cannot think of it.
Social media profiling of
Yes, sir.
criminals.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Now, who actually does this investigation?
Sir,
When the FIR is filed and the case is allotted to a IO.
yes, sir. Sir, IO in most of the cases is the SI level officer or the SHO level officer, sir. And at times, the gazetted officers are also, investigating officer in few cases, sir.
For example,
Sir, for example, sir, in STSC Prevention of Atrocities Act, the DSP level officer is the investigating officer. Dowry deaths case, again DSP level officers are investigating officers.
now what are the 3 important provisions of Atrocities Act? 3 important provisions.
Sir, if sir, one is, sir, with respect to anticipatory bail, this was an issue, sir.
Provision.
Sir,
Is
provision.
there any provision in the Act for anticipatory bail?
Yes, sir. It is there, sir. For example, sir, anticipatory bail could not be granted if the case is registered in STSC case, sir. This is the one which I can remember right now, sir.
The important features mean the punishment, the type of crimes, the provisions of compensation.
Sir, I'll read about it, sir.
tell me, there are three cases which come to your notice as a civil servant.
Sir.
One is a poor person had to pay bribe for registering a case or doing a work activity in your office. The second one is the person is not so poor, just like a middle class or a lower middle class. He has to pay the bribe, but his work is done, so he is happy. The third one is very rich person. His work is done and he pays 500 rupees to your peon. Now, which one you will object, which one you will not like, and which one you will accept?
Sir, as
Out
a
of three.
sir, sir, as a public servant, acceptance of bribe at any level is
No,
unacceptable, sir.
The rich man is not giving any bribe. He's just going out of your office, just put 500 rupees in the pocket of your peon. That's all.
But still, sir, this counts as an outsider, even as an insider. This amounts to corruption, sir. So, if I have to look these issues, they must be on the basis of merit and the cases, the gravity of the cases. So, this should be my criteria to objectively look into the issues, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayank. So your optional is again sociology. So have you studied Marx in sociology? Karl Marx.
Sir.
So tell me, what is his alienation theory?
Sir, according to Karl Marx, in capitalist society, the major aim is to have greater profit. Due to that, the person is robbed of his creativity, his craftsmanship, and that is commodified. And due to that, person is alienated to his labor. Number one, sir. Number two, with his
What is a humanitarian aspect of Marx? What is humanitarian aspect of Marx? इसको हम young Marx भी कहते हैं. What is young Marx? Young Marx.
sorry, sir, I cannot recall.
Okay. Have you studied about Gramsci?
Yes, sir.
So what is war of position by Gramsci?
Sir, he gave the concept of hegemony, and through that he tried to explain how the power at times is not seen, and people they give consent to the party or the
War of position. What is war of position? Okay. Organic intellectual. This is again a term given by Gramsci only. Organic intellectuals.
sorry, sir, I will read about it.
Okay. What is common sense in terms of Gramsci?
Sorry, sir, I don't recall.
Okay, let's go somewhere else. So you have interest in poetry. You write or you read poetry also?
Sir, I write, sir.
So
Mostly,
you don't
sir.
read poetry.
I also read, sir, but mostly.
Can you name three poets of Madhya Pradesh?
Sir, Sri Makhanlal Chaturvedi,
Okay.
Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee,
Okay.
and Harshankar Parsai is also from Madhya Pradesh, sir.
That's true, but he's a poet or?
Sir, mostly his works are on satire, sir.
Yeah.
But he also wrote some poetries.
Okay. Have you heard about Uday Prakash?
No, sir.
Bhavani Prasad Misra.
Yes, sir.
Have you studied in school days?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So last question from my side related to your poetry part. Rasmi Rathi. Have you heard about this?
Yes, sir.
Who has written?
Sir, Dinkar ji, sir.
Dinkarji. Okay. Let's go to some IR thing. Have you heard about Quad?
Yes, sir.
There is two Quad. Indo-Pacific Quad and West Asian Quad. Can you differentiate?
Sir, the Indo-Pacific Quad is comprising of 4 democratic nations who are the major object is to have free, open, and peaceful Indo-Pacific, sir, and also to counter China in a way. And this, sir, Middle Eastern Quad is comprising of nations UAE, Israel, Saudi, and primarily it is seen as a countering Iran, sir.
India is a part of Middle East Quad or not?
Sir,
India, US, Israel, UAE. Have you heard about this Quad?
yes, sir, I have heard, but I have little knowledge about it, sir.
Okay. So what is free and open Indo-Pacific?
Sir, free and open by mean it should not be, for example, the rule-based law order, the international laws need to be followed.
So in what context this rule-based order has been used? In what context?
Sir, especially with respect to South China Sea issues,
Very good.
this was is used, sir.
Okay. One more thing regarding this. Your place is Rewa, na?
Yes, sir.
So how differentiate between Tiger Reserve of Rewa and Gir Forest of Gujarat?
Sir, in Riva, in Bandhavgarh National Park, we have white tigers, and in Gir we have Asiatic lions, sir.
Very nice. Done.
Okay. So, Mayank, we will take you back for a while in the waiting room. Just stay there. We'll call you back for giving your feedback.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, have a seat, Mayank.
Thank you.
Mayank, when is your interview scheduled?
Sir, 18th of May, sir.
18th May. So, how many marks did you obtain in the earlier interviews?
Sir, I got 160 last year, sir.
160. So did you get any service in that? No,
Last year, no, sir.
last year. No. In the meanwhile, you were already working with UP Police.
Yes, sir.
So the selection as DSP, that was done by the Public Service Commission of Uttar Pradesh.
Sir.
How many marks did you get in your interview there?
Sir, 70% marks, sir.
70%.
Yes, sir. And in CAPF also, sir, by UPSC, I got 70% marks.
Okay, very good. 70% is a very good number. Okay, so first of all, you tell us, how do you think you fared at this today's interview?
Sir, I could have answered few questions in a better manner, sir. Initially, thoda sa stuck kiya thoughts, so would have done
Okay,
better, sir.
so Mayank, let me first of all say that you are definitely good. There is no doubt about it. Your performance was good, and I'm going to tell you some of the areas where you need to slightly prepare, and the purpose is just to for betterment or improving your performance.
Sure.
Though 160 is not a bad marks which you have got, but then we would like to see you somewhere around 200, so that you can, depending upon, of course, your written paper,
Sir.
but you should be able to get the service of your choice also. Okay, so first of all, let me say that while giving answers, follow the principle number one, that listen to the question first,
So,
understand why this question has been put, in what context, is there anything relevant in current affairs, why the question is being asked. So context you should be clear. Second is that don't be in a hurry to give out answers.
okay, sir.
I'm not at all saying that you were, but I'm just suggesting to you the way. Don't be in a hurry. Let it be percolate down inside your mind and then come out with the answer. And the answer should be such that the most important part of the answer should come first.
Okay, sir.
So the prioritizing the answer is a very important step we have to keep in mind, because that will help you in immediately sending a message to the panelists that yes, you know about it and you know the
Okay, sir.
the priority of that. The third is that in matters like corruption, okay, there is no choice, there is no other choice. You can't be allowed to think that I will think about it, I will decide. Straight away, zero tolerance to corruption. Whosoever does it, that
Yes,
will
sir.
be zero tolerance. Quickly come out of this. Corruption in any way is to be abhorred. You cannot agree. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Whether it is by a petty official, whether it is by a senior level. So that is one thing. The next thing is that you have to keep in mind that if there are questions which have got a answer which can go either way or two different schools of thought, first of all, give your answer giving both the sides. So
Okay, sir.
that will demonstrate that you are rational. Let me give you an example. For example, the question may be asked about Central Vista project or
Sir.
Sardar Patel statue, big statues which are coming up. Or it can be regarding demonetization, or it can be regarding, say, Article 370. It can be hijab and so on. Always give both the sides of the answer. And if they ask you to give your opinion, then take help of the court judgment if there is any.
Okay, sir.
So hijab, there was a court judgment. Ayodhya also, there was a court judgment. So whenever there is a court judgment, take the shelter behind that. And if there is no court judgment, my suggestion to you would be that always follow the official line. What is the legal line? The official line. don't try to venture into such areas by giving very innovative answers.
Okay, sir.
May not be liked, you see, some person may take umbrage to that, and they may unnecessarily draw into a controversy. So
Okay,
follow
sir.
the official line, whether it is reservation, whether it is central vista, whether it is any other thing. So follow the official line.
Okay, sir.
That's it. Give examples always
Okay,
in
sir.
support of your answer. That is the general thing which I would like to talk about. Then the question pattern, I will not deal into that, but two questions I would first of all deal with. One is that the minimum qualifications for the politicians and the retirement age also for the politicians. So there are again two schools of thought. You followed one school of thought, but the other school of thought, since the politician eventually is instrumental in making laws and also policies, therefore there should be minimum educational qualification prescribed. And second is that yes, there is an age after which the performance level goes down, and just like we have got a age restriction for services and other, why not have a age restriction for politician also? So there are two schools of thought.
Okay,
You
sir.
could give both the sides, and then if you are asked about your opinion, then my suggestion to you would be that in this case it would have been better if you follow that yes, because in several states even the sarpanches, they have been, their minimum qualifications have been shipped.
Yes, sir.
So why not have minimum educational qualifications also, so that they can actively take part in the discussions, in debates, information laws, and therefore the level of the legitimization or making laws becomes higher.
Okay, sir.
As a person who has no education, he will not be in a position to have an understanding of the thing.
Okay,
And definitely there is a requirement of training. There is no doubt about it. Training has to be imparted to the
okay, sir.
politicians also. The second question which was asked was regarding the limiting ceiling of expenditure. So there you said yes, the ceiling of expenditure on political parties should be limited and so on. So there, in a way, you were two different, sides you were having. So one, you were having one opinion that no there should be no restriction on the age and experience, but here you said the political party should. There is nothing wrong in that. You can have different views on different issues, but what I'm trying to say is try to balance out so that it gives an impression that you can think on both the sides.
Okay, sir.
That is important. And then of course questions regarding the bulldozer, and the poem was to be recited, and you recited a beautiful poem which you had yourself composed that poem. And then of course Mahatma Gandhi, Ashoka, semblance of Ashoka in the modern history and so on. Civil engineering, many questions will be there. So seismic zones, retro engineering, modern things like, for example, water harvesting tanks, what are the material which are being used, bridges,
Yes.
buildings, high-rise buildings, smart cities.
Okay, sir.
These are all areas which will fall into that. Project management, PERT, CPM, the material which is being used, iron, what is the role of iron, what is the role of lime, what is the role of. So these are all things, anything and everything regarding civil engineering, please read in great detail.
Okay,
There
sir.
may be a civil engineer sitting on the board also.
Okay, sir.
And then of course the investigation. So since police is here, so many questions will be asked on police, very likelihood. Why the police is dreaded, by the general public? What steps can you take to do that? How will you improve the investigation? And or how will you establish a better image like of Bobby in United Kingdom, the kind of people friendly police? Singapore police, do you know that Singapore police was trained by the Singapore Airlines
Okay, sir.
in order to improve the interaction with the public?
Okay, sir.
So these kind of example you can give. United Kingdom, the Bobby, and the Singapore Airlines. So we should also have that in our system, so that people consider them as friendly. Corruption is again an issue. It is everywhere. But what steps can you take to bring down the corruption? There are many methods. Technology is only one of the methods. There are, shifting of people from sensitive posts regularly, use of government process re-engineering. That is, the processes and procedures which the public has to go through. they should be improved upon, they should be simplified and so on. And then of course zero tolerance to corruption and training and to improve the skills and competencies, walk the talk. So you as a role model, you should walk the talk. So there are almost a dozen ways to bring down the corruption. Identifying those people who are of doubtful integrity, never to post them on sensitive posts and so on. And then of course you were asked questions regarding and investigation also, and learn the latest things which are there in the forensics and
Okay,
other
sir.
things. And then alienation theory and other aspects connected with sociology. So they were asked, and you were able to come out with most of them in a very good answers to that. But now coming to some of the strengths, your communication skills are very good. Your articulation is very good. You are calm, composed, confident, which are all strengths. You were able to take most of the controversial questions also very well. Your mental alertness was there. You were able to clearly and logically give answers. The answers were very logical, and your knowledge about current affairs was also fairly good. But current affairs, when we come, then be very, very good in current affairs. Read newspapers till, and your interviews on 18th May, so you still have about a week
Yes,
or
sir.
10 days left. So read newspaper every day, central articles, the issues which are there, like even the issue regarding Bagga. So you, since you are a DSP,
Yes,
the
sir.
question will be asked on this. And police encounters, that can be a question, whether it is right or wrong. You have to take the side it is wrong. There is no question of going in the other way,
Yes, sir.
because encounter is going against the law. Anything illegal is wrong.
Okay, sir.
You have to follow that thing. You cannot take the vigilante kind of, yes, we are vigilante, we have to, those people have committed many murders, so therefore the due process of law has to be followed. And then so current affair is one thing. Then India foreign policy, India's relation with its neighbors,
Okay, sir.
and the role of United Nations institutions, so WHO and COVID-19. And so these are some of the things. And Russia, Ukraine, its aftermath, and Afghanistan and Myanmar, particularly, these two are countries which are ruled by military and or otherwise divisive forces. And the position in Sri Lanka, economy of this country. So what effects the reverse repo rate has on the economy, and on the general public, on inflationary tendencies, on devaluation of rupee, what effects will it have, and also study in a great deal the number one, the Atmanirbhar Bharat, what steps have been taken by the present government to improve manufacturing sector and also self-reliance.
Okay, sir.
And self-reliance has become very, very necessary in view of the Russia-Ukraine war also.
Okay, sir.
And then read the public policies. Since you are a police officer, naturally many things connected with atrocities on women, and what steps will you take to protect the lives of women and senior citizens in the district which you are commanding.
Okay, sir.
So verification of antecedents of the domestic servants, and illumination on the streets, take care of the apps which are there to ensure that the women, and when they travel late in the night, call centers, dropping them off there and so on. So for women, for children, read whatever laws are there for their protection,
Sir.
and also for children. So Juvenile Justice Act and POCSO and so on. And then the handicapped and scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Public policies, laws. So
Okay,
these
sir.
are the two things. And read the constitution so that you have a good understanding about the polity, and how what are the fundamental rights and important preamble, fundamental duties and so on.
Sir.
So that's about it, the entire thing. If you have any questions, you can ask us.
Sir, one question with respect to if they ask me that you are already in police services and you had opted IPS as your third option, IAS, IFS, then IPS. So, what should be the answer of it, sir?
Though the answer will lie in the very fact that first of all, you want to enter the civil services. Okay,
Yes, sir.
whether it is IAS, IPS or IFS. Okay?
Sir.
The civil services of the union.
Sir.
And the reasons are many. Why do you want to come to the civil services? Choices you can always give, that IAS and IFS and IPS, but the reason why you want to come. So take take shelter behind the functions of the civil services, what it has got to offer to you. DYSP, you say that it is also a good service serving the citizens of this country, but that will be restricted at a certain level. But as a civil service, number one, it will give me a much larger exposure. For example, you will not only be required to serve in your state, but you will also have an opportunity of going to the CBI, to the IB, to RAW, and other central police organization. So that is in Indian police service much wider horizon. In fact, that is applicable to all civil services. So IAS, IFS on this. So number one is a larger canvas, a larger horizon, larger number of areas and departments you will be able to serve. Number two, that you will be able to take part in the entire public policy making process. So policy formulation, policy implementation, and policy evaluation. And also framing laws, which is called policy legitimization. I would strongly suggest to you that read any good book on public policy. There is a book by Dye, you can go through that also. And also read 70 policies that changed India. That will give you a good idea about the policies since independence.
So,
also read some of the laws which have been framed by the Supreme Court, and that is by the name of 10 judgments that changed India. So the second was the public policies. Why you want to enter civil service? One was exposure. Second was part of the public policy. Third is important and responsible leadership positions at a young age. It will give you an opportunity. At a very young age, you will be able to occupy, for example, commanding a district as superintendent of police and so on. That opportunity is not given in any other service.
yes, sir.
And fourth is you will be taking part in the public governance. And fifth is it will give you a lot of scope for creativity and innovation. The best practices which are being practiced all over the country are amply demonstrated in a function organized on the Civil Services Day. So that is where interaction takes place. So a lot of innovation and creativity can be done.
Yes,
So
sir.
these are generally the reasons, and you will be touching the lives of the citizens of this country. So that in fact is the reason why you want to come to civil services. Inter se, you can say that IAS is providing a much larger canvas in terms of departments. Police will have a restricted to certain thing. That is why I have given IAS.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other thing you want to ask?
No, sir.
You will do very well. You are very good. Your communication skills are fine. You have a balance of judgment, and you also have a good attitude, positive. Your knowledge base is very good, but some of the areas will be indicated. If you do, I'm sure you will. This time you will be into the civil services.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.